getting older is knowing better. Someone who lives well and age well is somebody who knows how to edit their life. How do you edit your life? There's too much distraction out there. You can really get busy doing nothing and everything.
That's Frédéric Fekkai, the legendary hairstylist who's credited with creating the first day spa, a salon at Bergdorf Goodman that became a bee's nest of celebrities. Over the years, he's styled countless models and celebrities, including Claudia Schiffer, Demi and Martha Stewart. And you might also recognize him from his namesake luxury hair care brand, which he launched in 1996, sold in 2008, and bought back in 2018. But what you might not know is that he grew up in a modest home in France, started out as a soccer player, and went to law school. Over the years, he says he's edited his life, today focusing on sustainability and family. Welcome to Make Yourself at Home, the podcast that takes you into the homes of people you admire to show you a side you don't usually get to see. I'm Kristen Twyford, and every week, you and I will talk with someone at the top of their career to explore holistic success and how work and home are inextricably intertwined. Along the way, we hope to inspire you to live well, whatever that means to you. Make Yourself at Home is presented by Nines, the household management app designed to help you manage your home and everything that comes with it, so you can live with ease. Today, we're at Frédéric Fekkai's home in Greenwich, Connecticut, where he recently moved from New York City, the city that launched his career. We're talking about everything from dreams to creativity to changing priorities, and who he'd invite to his dream dinner party. Make Yourself at Home with Frédéric Fekkai. Hi, Frédéric. Thank you so much for having us into your home today.
Oh, thank you very much, Kirsten, for hosting me.
Yes.
So great to be on this podcast.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. Set the stage for us a little bit and tell me about where you're sitting today and why you chose to sit there.
It's actually, the new normal, I guess. This hybrid schedule at work.
Yeah.
Where, we are working on it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the office.
Yeah.
I usually go, 5 days, but sometimes like right now with the beautiful weather, and I didn't have any meeting in the city, so I decided to work from home.
Yeah.
And here I am in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your home. I know that you moved from New York City after a long time in New York City to Greenwich recently. Tell me about that move and why you guys decided to do that.
It's interesting because, I've been in New York for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I love New York and still have the office. Mm-hmm. But, we have two children. Cecilia is 13, Philip is 10. And we needed to have a little bit more of I would say, green around us.
Yeah.
And space and sky. I mean, like today, I'm so excited to see the sky. And being in a city, it's quite more challenging. And, I have to say, getting older, it's not a bad thing. It's just better. And so today, if I could just accept a different lifestyle and living in an environment where I can see the light and can see and no noise. To me, my pet peeve is the noise in New York. It's quite noisy.
Yeah.
So here we are, Greenwich, and it's a 33-minute train ride or 53-minute. So I know my options.
Yep.
And it's pretty good.
Yep. And as you think back, like when you left your New York City apartment for the last time and you're moving out of the city, how did that feel? Take me back to that moment and what you were thinking.
First of all, it's not an exaggeration to say a move is so distracting, disturbing. And it has been, moving things out of the city to a house has been extremely challenging for many reasons. I don't want to bore you with it, but it's not only costly, but it's also very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So lucky enough, I had the right decision by sending my family in Europe because it was the holidays in summer,
Mm-hmm.
and so that I did the big move without them, and then we adjusted the move with them when they come back in August. But it's quite strange because all your habits that you had in the city, you have to re find them elsewhere, and
Yeah.
it's been actually I find it invigorating and energetic, and basically keeping you active and young by just
Mm-hmm.
searching, seeking new environment. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. And New York was such a part of your career and establishing you as an expert in the hair care industry. It really kind of launched your career in a different sort of way. You're known for creating the luxury hair care brand Fekkai, for being a stylist to the stars, celebrities, and models. What's something that people don't know about you that might surprise people?
On the business, I would say that I'm proud to say that I created a salon environment that didn't exist. I love to be a pioneer without being presumptuous. So I created a women's wear daily, called it the first day spa. So that was really good. So I don't think many people knows about me, these things about me. And then, because I saw my customer then having an amazing, great skincare company, skincare product, sorry, and I went and in hair care, it was really poor choice and commodity, so there was no great product. So I decided to go and use the skincare lab to make some better innovation on hair care and use the skincare technology to create a hair care who became the first skinification to the hair. So I'm proud to say that I was the first one to create a luxurious hair care collection for our customer. So that's that. And then on the personal side, I grew up in the south of France, in a very modest area, and went to public school. There's no private school in France, and I played soccer at a very high level. So I should say that maybe not many people knows. I played soccer at professionally
Wow.
until I moved to New York,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second thing I should say that people might not know is also I'm a pilot, a helicopter pilot. So,
Oh, how did you get into that?
actually through a friend of mine, his
Mm-hmm.
name is Bob Pittman, who is today the chairman and CEO of iHeartRadio. He was at Time Warner back then,
Mm-hmm.
and he took lessons and became a pilot. And I was wow. I said, wow, that's why. He said, you can do that too. So he sent me an instructor name, and I went to that school in Long Island, and then became a pilot.
Yeah.
And love it, love it, love it. For me, flying, it's an amazing, amazing gratification.
Yeah. What do you think it gives you? What do you love about it?
I love the fact that it's almost freedom.
Yeah.
You just get into the helicopter, you take off from the river in New York City, and you can go to Long Island, you can go to Maine, you can go to Nantucket, you can go to places, and you can fly, and like a plane, you can fly at a low altitude and be a voyeur,
Yeah.
seeing beautiful farm, beautiful town,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful properties. So you can see a lot of great landscape.
Yeah.
And that is to me a beautiful thing. And you can say, oh my God, let's go have a lunch and in Montauk and take a lobster, lunch in Montauk and then come back.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. It's a
Mm-hmm.
privilege, and I know it, and I'm very grateful of that. But it's a great privilege to have.
Well, I want to start at the beginning. Take me back to growing up in the south of France. Where did you live? What kind of house did you grow up in? What was your life like as a kid?
I grew up in a modest family, so to me it was getting up in the morning, my brothers and daughter, sister then, and getting breakfast, fighting to get the best seat at the table, and and then and then we walk to school. We walk. The school was not a mile away, pretty close,
Mm-hmm.
and we walk every day. And the good news about this is that we were outside most of the time.
Yeah.
So school, and then after that, it's always activity outside. Obviously, there was no smartphone and video game back then. So you had to find your own game, and it was outside. It was, and I found that a blessing. It was
Yeah.
great, and this is why I think today I'm so passionate and loving the outdoors so much.
Yeah. Do you think that's also how you found your creativity?
Yes, first of all, growing up in France, it is fantastic because France is really, I would call it the mecca of fashion, beauty, cultural events. We all know most of the amazing artists are came from France or lived in France. Picasso, Matisse, Cézanne, Van Gogh. I mean, Modigliani, all of it. So France has that, and France is a country that is also amazing in the sense that there's beauty all around it, and everything is around aesthetic. The king instigated that in the history of France. Building amazing castle, amazing buildings, and so on. So you see basically sophistication everywhere, and then the king also created this amazing fashion. People were dressed amazingly, so the fashion stayed like that. And to me, France was the inspiration, and I was also drawn to beauty. I loved to see architecture, museums, places like that. I was always very, very excited, and I was curious from a young age.
Yeah.
So that helped me to develop an eye that helped me on doing what I do today quite well.
Yeah. So back then, what were your dreams? How did you picture your future? What did a successful life look like to you when you were growing up as a kid in France?
I was very always, I don't want to use the word envious, but definitely taking example from people that I find it interesting and successful. And successful not financially only, but successful with their life, successful with their personal attitude. I was drawn to people that had a story or were creating something, entrepreneurs, artists. This is what really excited me, is to find out how to grow yourself and really find a passion and something where people recognize your skills.
And you went to law school, right? And then you met someone who was a hairdresser, and that sort of changed your life. So what was it that excited you about that possibility that felt so different from this law career that you were pursuing?
First of all, I wanted to go to a fine art school in France called Les Beaux-Arts, which is a very amazing, prestigious and I was accepted. I was
Mm-hmm.
excited. My dad, who was very conservative and Paul, didn't want me to go there. And so he wanted me to. In his mind, being successful was a businessman, a lawyer, a journalist, whatever, something like that. And. So I went to law school because you want me to go there to Paris for the
Yeah.
final school. So I went to law school, and I realized that was not really what I wanted to be. Not because I knew what I was talking about. It's just because I was seeing all the lawyers around in Aix-en-Provence, and I said, I don't want to be that. That's basically stuck in a city, and I want to travel. And
Mm-hmm.
lucky enough, I was doing modeling to get some pocket money and help myself. And I met an amazing talent who was a makeup artist and stylist on a shoot who invited me to come to Paris and to fulfill my dream to go to Les Beaux-Arts. However, before doing that, I helped her and her team, on a shoot, and that's where I discovered that I loved it. But more importantly, people loved me. So I thought, my God, this is great. I mean, this is what I want. I want to be where people appreciate me, want to be, want me to do something.
Yeah.
And this is how I developed this passion. It didn't come right away. It had, a rocky start. You learn, you're excited, and then you struggle, and then you go to different step. Anyway, by doing that, I found it myself doing what I wanted to work around people, beauty, and it was not only models but also uh, actors, actresses, and so on. And doing that also took me on travel everywhere, and I thought it was amazing, and I was blessed to have found these people, and along the way found others that mentored me, and again, that's where I got the appetite to be innovative, to be pioneering and finding things, because I do not want to do, frankly, I hate and to do things that it's already done.
Yeah.
To me, it's like a ball.
So you move to New York and you get this amazing slot at Bergdorf Goodman. You have this opportunity to create a salon at Bergdorf Goodman, and you say you want it to be completely different from everything else that's out there. And that's when you create this day spa that then becomes sort of a bee's nest of celebrities. What was your life like outside of work during that time? I can imagine it was kind of a whirlwind and you had not been in New York for too long. How were you feeling? What was your personal life like? Where were you living?
It's very interesting, and I think this is also what contributed to my success. I was hanging out with a diverse range of people.
Yeah.
From my customers, some people were in Wall Street, and actually they became tycoon big time, and then also designers. I was going out with friends like Calvin Klein and at the time his wife Kelly, meeting all designers, and artists. So I was really much excited to discover the people of New York, the successful people in New York, and that took me to amazing places. New York was always effervescent with new restaurants, new clubs, and, parties everywhere. By doing that, I was always in the press, whether, on the who's who, on the, red carpet and so on. And that kept it a buzz. And
Yeah.
also, it allowed me to meet always some new, interesting people from all over the world.
Can you think of a moment during that early time in New York where you looked around and thought, I can't believe I'm sitting here. I can't believe I'm in this company. I can't believe I'm at this event. Did you have a moment where you just really couldn't believe where you had ended up?
This, I thank God, it still stays like that. But even yesterday, I was, just sitting in a meeting, and I said, I can't believe I can't believe I'm here. I mean, this is a big things. I'm sitting here with some very powerful people and very successful. I mean, on a high glass tower. I mean, it's it happens all the time. I mean, I love that about me is that I know how blessed I am. I know how tougher it is. I know how sometimes difficult and depressing it could be,
Yeah.
but also appreciate when it's a great moment. Even that today, look at me. I mean, I'm working from home. It's really nice, and I'm talking to you, and
Yep.
I mean, look at this. This is an amazing thing. We couldn't do that before. Having this podcast interview just like that. So I loved. I mean, I pinch myself, and that to see what the life I have, whether it's be with some interesting people who an amazing place, and so on and so on.
Yeah. Where do you think that sense of gratitude comes from? Have you always had that spirit, or do you think over time you've just been through a lot of tough situations and you feel very grateful that you're here now. Where does that come from?
I think it's fear. It's
Mm-hmm.
fear that you go up, you can go down. So I think it's
Yeah.
important to appreciate where you are. You know what I mean? It's fear. It's fear that things can turn around in life.
Mm-hmm.
In many ways. I don't want to be so pessimistic, but things happen. The world. Look at the world we live in today. So I love to take the time to breathe and say, my God, yes, it could be worse out there.
Yeah. Fast forward to your life today. Your personal life seems to look very different from how it did during that whirlwind when you first moved to New York. You're living in Greenwich, you have two young kids. I know you have a third son as well. And,
Yes.
you and your wife are running a business together. And then you also travel a lot. And it seems like the way that you spend your time is different. Was there an aha moment that sort of changed that for you? Or do you think that's been a gradual progression over time?
I think it has been a gradual progression, but I think the way I see life is like a book.
Mm-hmm.
It's many chapters, and to not be afraid to make sure that the chapters, have a link but are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is to me. You need to progress and you need to challenge yourself. You cannot be, it's so boring to be stale. I think you need a new environment. You need new people. You need,
Mm-hmm.
a new expression of yourself. So you have to find that always. Of course, with home, it's a great example, but also with travel and with people. So to me, I encourage everyone is to not be introvert, but really extrovert and try to really discover everything out there.
Mm-hmm. How do you think your priorities have changed over time?
The priorities are simple. Getting older is is knowing better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the priority is in life is how someone who live well and age well is somebody who knows how to edit their life. How do you edit your life? And to make sure you really do things that are matters. There's too much distraction out there. You can really get busy doing nothing and everything. So it's like the biggest thing to do is to know how to say no.
What do you find you're making more time for today that you didn't in the past?
Actually, my family obviously, want to make sure that stay not too late in the city and
Mm-hmm.
come back to have a dinner with my wife and the kids. To also perhaps read a book with them or watch a movie or play card.
Mm-hmm.
Or which will we do?
When do you feel most at home?
I feel most at home, when, I have activities with my family around, whether,
Mm-hmm.
my little one, Philip, plays soccer. He loves to play soccer. So we play soccer together. Although I just pulled my hamstring because of that.
Oh
I can, you can't play with young kids anymore. You have to,
no.
but no, but I feel most at home when I know that I share a great moment with
Yeah.
my family or friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about before that you love to entertain. So tell me what that time means to you and your family. How do you guys like to entertain? Why does it mean so much to you?
I love people who are great hosts, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be one of those as well. And I think we are. But I love when you entertain and have a diverse group of friends, and some people who don't know each other and all this. So creating this, I'm French, so I love cooking. So sometimes, even though we have a chef, I love to cook something as well because I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And also I just love the idea of having people laugh. To me, is this it's like how can we go and I always want to invite people who are funny
Mm-hmm.
because you want to laugh. And laughing is a great introduction to this.
Yeah. What do you think makes a great host?
I have to say, it's somebody who makes people, the guests feel at home at easily. But of course, the artifact around, which is great music, great drinks, great food. and really a great environment. I think it's so important for me to. My wife does just a great job is to dress the table quite well, to make sure the lighting is right, the flowers are there, the tableware, the dishes, the everything is so well done, and that is an art, and it always makes people feel special. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important when you're hosting that people feel special.
Agreed. And when you guys were looking for a new house in Greenwich, were you thinking about entertaining? What about this house made you think, okay, this is the right place for us?
We picked the place because the home is great. The home is great because it's the volumes are right. It's built by an amazing builder, and I love the fact that it has a great flow. The rooms
Mm-hmm.
are there's a great flow. There is a great privacy for my office, but then you go next door. It's a family room and a kitchen and it's so lovely to be in a place where you feel like your shoulders come down. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
to me, it's like it's so relaxed. It's so great.
Yeah. What does that mean to you to have that place where you can really relax?
For me, it gives me peace of mind, but also security, and it allows me to be really creative because I can really think about uh, ideas, writing notes, and so on. Life is all about triggering something. I always ask people, don't be afraid to just, you know, be curious, ask questions, and explore things.
Yeah. Do you think your creative environment has sort of changed over time? Do you think your younger self who was in the middle of that salon all day long with lots of people in and out would be surprised that you have this quiet place to think now and get creative?
Yes, I love, when you're younger, you have what I call the daring, naive, creativity. You go out there, you're not afraid, you do things, you know, and that's what it is. You're young, so everything is forgivable. As you get older, you seem to be more measured, and you also try to learn from the mistake you made in the past. So you are, as I said earlier, editing a little bit more, your life, but also the way you think, the way you create, the way you work, and so on. So today, I function completely differently. Before, I would say that I was, as I said, daring and thinking less and acting more. Today, I said I think a little bit more and act more moderately.
Yeah. If you look back at your life, is there one decision, either big or small, that you think was key to your happiness today? It could be a decision or a moment or something that happened, something that really had a ripple effect in your life.
A few things, starting with being in the US. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
look at it. I was in France. I could have just had a great life. I was in the most beautiful city in the world, Paris, and I'm not buying. It's true. It's quality of life is better than anywhere. I had an amazing life there. But,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I decided to come to New York to launch a salon for this French company at the time,
Mm-hmm.
was an amazing decision. It was a game changing. That made me a different person on every way. This is one. Getting, married or just to have a family, but also at the time back to business. Opening a salon in Beverly Hills. That made a huge also impact in my life because obviously this became a nest. We didn't have an Instagram then, so my salon was an Instagram. Everybody was coming to take photos with the movie stars and the celebrities and so on. It was like a beehive of VIP people. So things like that, were made big milestone in my life. There's one more thing. Okay, think about it. I sold my company in 2008. How daring of me to go and buy it back, with obviously a financial group. But, all of this, I could have just decided to do something much more low key and less aggravation. But again, I'm there, business, as we all know, is tough and but I wanted to do that.
I loved the one that you mentioned about, choosing to move to the US. You had a great life in France. You were on a path that you could have been really successful. And then you followed this creative path and this dream that you had. Why do you think that was so worthwhile to do? Why do you think that was so meaningful to you?
I love to be innovative. I love to be creative. And I love the entrepreneurial spirit. To be honest with you, I love the idea of building brand, building value on the financial side, but also making an impact. When I brought the brand back, I changed everything
Yeah.
because it was not relevant anymore. So I wanted to make sure the brand was relevant. What did I do? We changed the packaging, made it with PCR, post-consumer recyclable plastic, so it's sustainable. Changed the formula to make sure there is no toxic ingredients. And every time the technology change, we make it better and better. And we have an amazing performant product, which we never did in the past, with clean ingredient, clean formulation, which is fantastic. So this is exciting to me. It's like to be the first one to do that, And again, I'm proud to say we're the leader of professional, super sharp product, but sustainable and clean. So
Yeah.
that to me that's what it is. It's also the fact that I want to accomplish a great success with a team, with my team, but also be recognized for a beautiful product, and not just the product itself, but also the salon as well. I'm taking pride of how beautiful our salons are, the way they run, the way the talent that there is there. So to me, that's what it is. It's making a mark to make sure that you exist for something special.
How does sustainability have a ripple effect in your whole life? What do you guys do at home? I know this is something that's really important to you in business, but how does it play out in your personal life, your passion for sustainability?
It started with home first before buying back the business. We were so alarmed by the waste of so much plastic, paper, packaging, so on. Frankly, disgusted by the amount of trash and the damage that we've done to the oceans and to the rivers and so on and so on. So to me, it was very important that going back and doing and delivering product to the consumer. I want to make sure it was not going to impact poorly or badly the environment.
Yeah.
So this is again an example, not only for us, but for everyone. We want to show not only the customer, but all the brands as well that we can do this.
Yeah.
And we are, and this is great. To me, I'm outspoken about this. I'm going on many panels and discuss the importance of bringing to the consumer, products that are environmentally responsible.
Mm-hmm. And today, when you look at your life, what does a meaningful life look like to you?
A meaningful life is when you are living a life not just for you, but for others. And I don't say that lightly. I think it's important. Maybe it's the father on me, but I'm there to make sure that whatever we do contributes to others. Obviously we have a for-profit part of our life, but I want to make sure there's also a non-profit. And I'm not talking about just the typical charity, but everything we do. How can we help around us to have a good life and show people a good life.
How do you think being a father has changed you?
It's interesting because for me, being a father it's also a lesson to be an entrepreneur and a CEO, because it's not what you say, it's what you do that makes the example. It's about, oh my God, I'm doing it myself. So people see it. It has to be genuine. It has to be authentic. Uh, Being a father is also being patient, nurturing, motivating, inspirational. So this helps in business. It's great.
Well, that was a fantastic conversation. I'm excited to get into our lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes,
Yes,
go ahead.
let's do it. Okay, so for the first one, I saw on Instagram that you give a lot of sort of impromptu haircuts, it looks like, in your own backyard or on trips. What do you think is the best haircut that you've ever given at the spur of the moment in your home?
The best haircut is when, somebody feel transformed and have the biggest smile. So it doesn't have to be somebody very famous. Obviously we always recognize for the very famous people we do, but to me, it's when I really see somebody so surprised, but
Mm-hmm.
pleasantly surprised, and who feels better. I love, and I really do make that analogy all the time. When you see a woman or a man when I cut their hair, and they get up, and all of a sudden their chest come up and the shoulders come down, and they are proud. They almost feel like 2 inches taller, and that's what I love. And that to bring people a look where they feel so good about themselves, so confident, and that makes them so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. How many haircuts do you think you've given in your home?
Oh my God, you know, um, you know, I travel with my scissors all the time. I have them in my purse. The only time I don't have it in my purse is when I go to the airport, so that they don't confiscate it at the TSA. But
They're always with you.
uh, yeah, always with me. So last past weekend, I was in Hampton. I cut the hair of a few friends on the deck in front of the pool. It's great. I mean, I just love to do that. I was on a boat this July in Ibiza, and all the guests on the boat got a haircut. It's just I love it. I love it because to me it's like playing golf. It's something I really appreciate
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just to me. I don't. It's not just cutting hair. It's really, and this is what I love. It's basically designing and giving a look to somebody.
Yeah.
It's basically creating a look, which is very, very important.
Yeah. Love that. Who's your dream dinner party guest?
I love when my dinner party guests are, as I said earlier, eclectic. I love that I have somebody who is funny, somebody who's very academic, somebody who's a serial entrepreneur. It could be an artist. I love when it's all over the map, but obviously with a good link, which is contributing to the party.
So if you had to pick one person, living or dead, who would you pick?
Oh my God. Oof, that is a good question. Oh my God. Not because it's going to be sounded terrible, but just because I love soccer. I would say Cristiano Ronaldo.
Such a good one.
Just because, just Cristiano Ronaldo, because first of all, he has the biggest number of followers on the
Mm-hmm.
planet. That means something, but also, the guy is so talented.
You could play
Yeah,
pickup soccer in the yard with your kids
yeah,
after. It'd be
yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good one.
And for women, I would say Jane Fonda.
Oh, I love Jane Fonda. That's a great answer. Why Jane?
Yeah, because I mean, it's incredible what she's advocating for, and she acts. She takes some serious, dangerous actions, and she's the real deal.
She is amazing. And great hair.
And great hair.
Always had great hair.
Absolutely, absolutely great hair. Exactly, absolutely.
What's your favorite home cooked meal?
I love to cook, as I said earlier. So in the summer, I love to do what we call a ratatouille because I love that. It's a vegetable stew, but Provençal. It's beautiful. But I love to do also. I'm more vegetarian these days. So I'll do, for instance, a carpaccio of zucchini with lemon and olive oil and just a little bit of cilantro and cumin spice on top. put it on the fridge for 30 minutes and then serve it cold. It's so good. That's the summer. But then in the winter, I love to do things like cheese fondue. I love to do, the French bistro food like cassoulet and confit de canard, things like that. So I love real food. I mean, I love food.
What's your household pet peeve?
My household pet peeve, oh God, it's dirty floor. When you come from outside and it's wet and you come, I hate to see marks on the floor. I really do. That's my pet peeve.
What's one thing in your home that makes your life easier?
My espresso machine.
What inspires you to live better?
What inspires me to live better? It's really, I love this balance that I learned from my yoga teacher years ago. A day is the 3-8. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of fun, and 8 hours of work. So if you keep that, you have a great balance.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been a fantastic conversation, and I really appreciate you having us into your home.
Thank you.
Thank you to Frédéric Fekkai for welcoming us today. Subscribe now to Make Yourself at Home to hear more conversations like this one, and follow along with Frédéric at Frédéric Fekkai on Instagram. We'll see you next time on Make Yourself at Home. Make Yourself at Home is presented by Nines, household management software that helps you manage your properties and everything that comes with them, so you can make the most of your time at home. Learn more at ninesliving.com.